welcome to Mental Health. I'm Robbie Stevenson, and I'm kind of flabbergasted that I even got this interview because well, this band doesn't need anyone to tell anything about them because like they've been around forever and they've made the scene basically, right? I don't even know how to say it. Like, there's so many bands that have tried to copy their sound and stuff since the 90s, and it's kind of amazing. And so let's just give it up to Tomas from At the Gates.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Trust me, it's my pleasure, right? Actually, you were the last concert I saw before lockdowns and everything with Grand Magus, Arch Enemy, and Amon Amarth here in Toronto. That was a great show. So I got the shirt.
Awesome. That was a great package, that tour.
Yeah. But today we're here to talk about the new album. I was lucky enough to be, because of the PR people and stuff, I was able to hear it, and I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah.
It is a different beast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot different than the other stuff, but it's cool. And I like the way it's progressed into what it is. Yeah, so it's called Nightmare of Being, right?
Yeah. It's what I could say that every At the Gates album is different from each other, right?
Yeah.
You know, looking at the albums behind you on the wall there, all those three albums are very different from each other, and yeah, that's the way we want to do it.
Well, I know I really appreciate the changes and everything because it's makes everything different and more fun each time. I especially like some of the different instruments that come into play on this one too. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone.
No, you could. I mean, it's just like 1 week for till release, basically. So, but I mean, yeah, we worked a little bit with orchestration before. I mean, on the Red in the Sky Hours, we had the violin. The last album, we had a lot of orchestration parts, which we wanted to do more of this time. And of course, we ventured further and did the saxophone solo that you might refer to, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm loving. I'm loving that one. Yeah. I'm actually like starting to listen to more and more music like that. Like, as I'm also listening to some Asan right now because Record Store Day, June's Record Store Day after came out, and there's a lot of cool saxophone in that too. So I'm just pretty pleased with the saxophone right now.
It's a pretty metal instrument, even if it's made of metal, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it has a desperate tone to it, like very aggressive tone, and we just wanted to see how improvised music could go into the very strict genre of metal. Of course, people have done saxophones in metal before, as you know, but we just felt that we wanted to push ourselves a little bit further as well. And that song in general has a very proggy element, so it fitted perfectly, I guess.
Yeah. As I said, I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So from to Drink from the Night itself, like I bought the box set and I lost the pin on my metal jacket, but that's a story for another day.
Shit. If we come to Toronto, I'll bring an extra.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, I'd love that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So with the night itself, I just found like the production, it just kind of threw it off a bit. Like the music was great, but like it almost sounded like it was underwater. I don't know. Some people have complained about that, but like this new album, it's like, and you don't really have much for that, but as far as that goes, but like the new album, I like. Every part of it I've really enjoyed. How long did it take you to put it together in the studio and just talk about the process a bit, I guess?
Well, we were in the studio from early November to mid-January, I think, but not like constantly, of course, but going in and out in different studios. What people might not realize is like the sound on To Drink from the Night itself has a purpose. It was like kind of like a reaction from what we did on War with Reality. We wanted it to be dirtier and more like old school death metal sounding. Well, I mean, we think it sounds great, but I mean, of course, everybody has their own taste,
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
This kind of album that we wanted to do now, it has a lot of layers, it has a lot of texture, details everywhere. So you need something like really clear, you know, to make everything stand out. And that was a tough process, actually. That's why we recorded in a lot of different studios to get the best out of every instrument, so everything would stand out. But the mixing process, yeah, that took a lot of effort. But I mean, everything stands out. You can hear every detail, every little harmony on guitars or flute or whatever you want to hear. You know?
Yeah. As I said, yeah, I'm enjoying it. So basically, so I already said, like, the last concert I saw, you were there. So that was the first time seeing you live, and like, it made me, I was more happy to see you than the other bands, and I was just like, it's like your band is kind of like legendary, right? Because with Slaughter the Soul, like, so many bands have tried to like use that sound, and it's been so influential. Like, how many bands do you think, if you were to throw a number out there, have tried to use that sound? Just to have fun here.
It's very hard. I mean, we can do like this instead. Like, how many bands do I think like succeeded in copying At the Gates?
Oh yeah, that's even harder. Yeah.
None, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but I mean, you could copy like some, like, you know, some things, like you copy the guitar sound or like the guitar playing style or whatever. But you can't copy a band's, like, you know, the soul and the emotional aspect of the band. That will always sound like that special band, not just us, but any band, you know. You know, there's a lot of Entombed clones out there as well, but none of them sound like Entombed. So I think that's the whole idea of it for us. We don't really mind. It's like flattering if people, you know, like it and get influenced by it. But I mean, we're influenced by a lot of stuff as well. We just throw it in the pot and try to make it like sound like At the Gates, those influences.
Yeah, I think like nowadays there's not enough stuff for a lot of bands. They don't throw enough stuff in the pot. There's like, oh, I like this band, so I'll throw this in the pot, and then they drink it, you know. So
yeah,
I love the fact that, like, there's so many different genres and aspects getting thrown into like the really good bands. You actually see that sticking out, and clearly I'm talking to one of them right now.
But I think it's also like the thing where you have to make it into your own thing. You have to color it with your own soul and your own emotions, and I think that's what we always try to do. I mean, there's a lot of experimentation on this record, like you mentioned, but it's all within the At the Gates sound.
Oh yeah,
that's like
still, like, the moment you hear it, this is At the Gates. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the challenge, to make it sound like At the Gates, even though it's a proggy part or it's like a section with violins or whatever, but it still sounds like the band you want to listen to, and that's what drives us. That challenge is fun, you know.
Yeah, I totally get that, and it's cool to see the evolution there too. Like, obviously, like, well, I'm a big fan of Death, and like that's the cool part about Death, is you see the evolution for each album. I mean, sure, Chuck had new members pretty much every album, but
yeah, but it still sounded like Death the whole time.
Yeah, every time. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Great. All right. So, how did you handle lockdowns and everything? Because, like, I know I had yours was the last concert I went to, and it's coming up on 2 years now almost. So I'm feeling pretty depressed about that.
Yeah, that's pretty tough with the shows. That's like the main thing, I guess, for us. We were lucky when we came home from that tour that you saw, the Amon tour. We only had like a couple of shows left of the campaign for the last album, so to say, and we managed to do those. And then we got home, and like 2 weeks after, everything started to happen, you know.
Oh, wow.
So we were going into a writing period anyway, where we were kind of like, how can you say it? We had done so much shows on the last album, so we were ready to go, like, oh yeah, let's go into writing mode. You know, don't play shows for a year or so, just write and focus on the record. So we were really lucky there, you know, in a way, because we could, throughout all the lockdown shit, we had something to retreat to. We had an escape, our little creative bubble. You know, when the world was too much for us, we could always go into that creative little bubble and escape from the world a bit. So for us, it was actually quite okay. It's now like when it's starting to approach the release of the record, you're doing all the interviews and you do the videos and all that. now it starts to creep up on you. Like, yeah, playing shows will be really fun, you know?
Yeah. Because I haven't really felt at home because like the only time I feel at home is when I'm at a metal show when it's surrounded by the community and everything, and that's just another reason why I love it. Like besides the music. So
Yeah.
I
It's been a challenging period for everybody. You know, it's like also if you're isolated, you spend a lot more time on with yourself, and of course you have to like, you know, maybe that's when you start working on yourself. You know, doing things like that will make you feel better. And I guess some people have evolved through that a little bit as well. You know, like spending time with yourself can be like to be nice and unnice, I guess.
Yeah. Like for me, because I'm a recovering drug addict, whenever I was isolating any other time before, it was because I was high out of my tree, right? So
Yeah.
because I was my drug of choice was meth because I chose stimulants because I was always trying to counteract the medication for my schizophrenia. So yeah, so it was always just a battle. So I've really tried to do the best I can to not stay isolated with everything
Yeah.
because I know like if I just isolate and don't do anything, I'll just be back on the drugs in no time. And in fact,
Oh, yeah,
that's one
yeah.
of the big reasons why I started mental health was because I'm a stand-up comedian and I can't do any shows. So I needed to find an outlet. So I started up mental health. If you search for it, you can't find it because anyone sees is the Quiet Riot album from '83.
Yeah, but it's a great name though, isn't it?
Yeah, right. But it suits me really well, I'd say, just because the schizophrenic recovering drug addict, you know. So it was just like mental health, you know, just take out.
That's great. I mean, I think everybody, you know, we'll see that in the next couple of months. I think all the bands have been working on records now, so there will be like an explosion of albums too, because you need that creative outlet, you know, especially if you're like a creative kind of person that always wants to keep busy, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But the cool part is because of all this, I got the job as a VJ for Ed the Sock. In Canada, we had Much Music, which was our music video station, like back in the 90s, early 2000s. And one of the VJs was like a talking sock puppet, right? And
Yeah.
the guy behind that is starting up a new music video channel because they've gone extinct. So I'm the metal VJ for that, and I'm really excited. We took the one show that was called Power Hour, which was all the metal, but Power Hour sounds like some '89 glam rock right now nowadays. So I'm changing the name to Metal Momentum.
Oh, that's great. But that's good. You know, you actually like made something happen during the pandemic instead.
As I told you when we first before we started recording, like I've never felt this good in my life, actually.
That's brilliant. I mean, that's, you know, having to think, you know, outside of the box can sometimes, you know, create stuff within yourself that you can, you know, reach higher and all that. You know?
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you just how much I appreciate you because, well, you know, you put your voice on the line and like a guitarist is never going to play the guitar so hard that their finger falls off, you know? And like without the proper training and everything, you can lose your voice completely doing what you do. And that's why I totally appreciate everything you do for At the Gates. If you want to talk about like some of the vocal training and everything because some people do, they've lost their voice from screaming wrong.
Yeah. No, that happened a lot in the early days, like late 80s, early 90s, you know, because then I was just basically trying to copy my idols, you know, like screaming as much as I can. But like, I think after the reunion part of the band, then I started like, oh, shit, we have like these, you know, bigger shows and, you know, longer shows. I need to start getting like some, you know, not vocal training, but I need to figure out myself where, you know, which parts of the body I should use and how. Getting better in-ear monitors was brilliant for me as well. Don't need to shout to hear myself among all the other noise, you know. But I think it's like, and I've never had any, you know, classic training per se, but I worked with it a lot myself. And I think that's why I can still be, you know, doing what I do and, you know, not getting not getting worse at it even with age, you know. It's almost like maturing a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's great. like I love and respect you so much. Is there anything you want to give a shout out to before we go here?
Well, all the Canadian metalheads. I mean, we've been there so many times, and it's been brilliant every time. The Canadian metal scene has always been like a strong focus for us. We, Sacrifice, Voivod, Slaughter, Razor, all these bands.
Right now.
Yeah. And next Sunday is the Dimension Heteros live streaming show. I'm going to be watching that. They have this, inside the Hypercube, what's it called? Yeah. No, but like the whole Canadian music scene and all the metal fans there. I mean, it took a while for us to get there, like with the reunion and everything. But when we finally came around to all the places in Canada, everybody's been so great to us. So we can't wait to go back. And thank you for your time as well. I'm really happy that, you're making things happen and like connecting with people, Canadian metal people around the world through the pandemic. That's amazing.
Well, thank you, Tom. All right, so remember everybody, Nightmare of Being, July 2nd. Let's pick those up.
Thanks, man.
This is the perfect analogy for mental health. All right? Boom, I fall. And then like the jogger comes up. Oh, that happened right in front of me. Do I have to care? Looks around. Do I have to care? Oh, there's no one around. Okay, I'll just keep going.